Yes, brother. Brother, I need to say something so extremely vile that I don't even think I'll be allowed in here. Hello and welcome back. Today I just got a package, and it's a couple of prints that I had digitized into real life, and it was from when you get in your car in the morning, and it's all frozen over on the windshield. Well, I really liked what it looked like, and I thought, hey, let's see what these come out like printed off, and I might try making a frame for them or something on the wall. Let's at least see what's cooking. And it costs so little to get stuff printed off, you know. It costs so little to get stuff printed off. It's like 13p, which it makes sense, but I hope they look good. Wow, I'm kind of digging these, bro. Because I took 4 pictures, right, and I took them all. I sent them all because, dude, if it's 15p, man, I'll get my whole fucking life printed off. But this is definitely the bluest. I'll have to take a little video of these and splice it in, but this is what they look like all together. You see what I mean? It's like, that's just a picture of me sat in my car in the morning, right? And that's the window looking out into the ether, which is the the front of the car. But it looks so crazy on the phone. So I thought, hey, I'll take a picture. Like, you can see the crystals there, but see the little lines? That's all the little thermal things in the window. I just thought it was so cool. But these are all just individual pictures. They don't link up. But I think I'm going to stick them all together, right, and put them on the wall. But it kind of looks a little bit like you're at the bottom of the ocean or something, and there's some sort of fish above you, or a boat or something like that sailing across. What I first want to really get off my chest is always in the news is presidents and vice presidents getting caught with classified documents in the house. It is mind-boggling, because when Trump did it a couple of months ago, it was like the end of the world, right? And everyone's saying he should be locked up. We should melt him and throw away the key. Biden's done it now, and it's all cool. No one really cares. And then now Mike Pence, Trump's vice president, has done it, which I don't understand. Are they taking these things home as homework or something? Trump's taking them back to read scary bedtime stories to Baron Trump, like flicking through. Oh wow, okay, interesting. Okay, Baron, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Oh wow. Oh, it says here, we're putting fluoride into the water supply. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we're trying to turn the frogs gay. Okay, interesting, interesting. Oh, wow, can you believe this? Wow, JFK. He was killed by the Cookie Monster. Wow. Yeah, it'd be wild, man. Just him sat there reading to Barron about how, the CIA has tried to overthrow South American governments and stuff to install a dictator or whatever that is friends with the US. But whatever, I'm sure they're not doing that. I'm sure it's all important, but if it's classified, man, it's pretty serious, right? Right, guys? Not good. I was thinking as well, we know our technology is getting so crazy now, and you can just type in shit on the internet, and an AI robot will just do exactly what you say. It's pretty sad, it's pretty scary, because AI's computer in it, and they don't have that human empathy that psychopaths lack, that human feeling and stuff. So I imagine in 5 or 10 years, when the human race is enslaved and we're all working in lithium mines and sat all day trying to mine copper in the pitch black, and there's just little AI potatoes flying around, shooting everybody. That's quite scary, because at least back when it was like, if you were in a concentration camp or something like that, or in a prisoners of war camp, I reckon I could probably charm myself into getting some extra bread or something like that from one of the Japanese. But I don't know if I could manage that with Windows 200. I think Mr. Paperclip might be a little bit tough, because they don't really give a shit about much, and it's like, what would they even eat as well? You couldn't even bribe them. It's like, okay, we'll give you all the electricity you could ever ask for. Can we just have a cup of water or something? But they just would they even want power to take over the world? It makes me think. I saw in the news that the co-founder of Stagecoach has been arrested for human trafficking. That's like the winner of the Oscar for Best Actor being arrested for identity fraud. How ironic is that? That they're moving people around the country and they're all actually literally moving people around the country illegally as well, which I don't know how that even works, to be honest. But she's a pretty big cheese, this old bag, and she's a dame. Um, fuck. I wonder if that gets taken off of you. Should do. Can't be human trafficking people, man. It's prison time, baby. Hey, it's prison o'clock. Prison's such a weird thing. It's so disgusting and scary, right? Because everyone who hasn't been to prison thinks they're going to be the guy that gets, used and abused in prison. And I'm one of those men, you know. I might be a big guy, but I think as soon as somebody is forceful with me, I'll bend into all sorts of silly shapes, man. But having said that, why is everyone always going gay for stay in prison? They never, they never talk about that in the world wars or in the wars or in the army or anything like that. Because though you'd think that if people really just managed to go gave her the stay for 2 years in prison. Why not? Why not in a tour of Afghanistan, man? When you were your boys, surely that would be encouraged by the army. If you could just unload your brother's magazine and while everyone else is out shooting people and you're trying to de-stress. I wonder if they've worked on that, the CIA, because I think if they truly said everything that they would have been doing, I think people would be very scared and they'd probably move to Russia. I wonder who the most evil country in the world is, because there's got to be some sort of leaderboard or something when we get to hell. Like who's the most evil person that's ever existed? It'd be cool to hold that record, man, but you'd have to do some pretty sick shit. I don't think you could just pad your numbers being like an army officer or anything like that. That's how if I was the devil, that's not how I'd do it. I'd say you've got to be the person inflicting pain and trauma, because it's easy just to go and be Stalin and say, oh yeah, man, let's go lose all these many people, and yeah, man, doesn't matter how we do it as long as we do it. We've got bodies to spare. Or if you're just Hitler and you're just putting people in gas chambers. Obviously, he might be the most evilest man. I'm not counting him out, but there is something to be said about some horrible doctor that's just experimenting on children and people or animals. But I've got to say, I do like humans. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I do like humans more than I like animals. Some people wouldn't be like that, and it's amazing. We never really go through a lot of problems together as a world. We all suffer from the same things, like people in countries all suffer from poverty and, not having food, and McDonald's having their ice cream machine not working. But there's never really, COVID was the only time really I felt, oh damn, I got people all over the world going through this shit, and it brought us. I felt closer to everyone, really, in a stupid way. It wasn't real, but I do think, how much crazy would it be, man, if aliens really thought, all right, you've really fucking done it this time, and came down here and just started locking everyone up, and they just kind of like made us like they kind of just invaded and then kind of shipped us off all over the universe, and being in jail or being in like some sort of labor camp on Krygon, 6,000 light years away, and every single other person or other thing in the room is just like just some unimaginable monster that's like as big as the tallest building, and or like a water thing, and they've all been like raped and pillaged by the same overlord alien race, but then you've been there for like 30 years and you've just been drinking some glowing liquid that they tell you to drink, and it's not killed you yet, But imagine walking down the corridor and then seeing somebody that looked like a human. It'd be amazing. You'd be like, "Oh my god!" Or like getting put in the same cell as someone from China or someone from Argentina or just someone from anywhere, and you're like, "Shit, man, how old were you when you got taken off of Earth?" And you could just talk about Earth, and you'd think about it. It's mad because right now I walk outside and it's cold, and I'm like, I fucking hate it here. I want to die. But in 40 years, when I've not even had fresh oxygen, I will think back to Earth, and I will love it. I think I will be very happy that I was born here. Because a lot of these, I mean, I guess kind of where any planet you're from, you'll probably really do like it there. Maybe there might be some, probably even the little animals that are made out of fire and molten rock will probably even think about their big volcano as home. And it's all relative, isn't it, really? Because and that's all we've got, man, is relativity. God bless Einstein, man. Power to the people. You kind of do need that, though, man. You kind of do need, like, is it Watchmen? Something like that. We do need a beast to come down here, an unimaginable monster or race of space aliens, and really just check our shit. Because I think we get really bothered about some really minor shit. And there's a lot of things on the list of human worries that shouldn't really be up there, man. And I think a big a big blue cloud that would electrocute everyone that looked at it might actually do us a lot of good. Imagine if we won as well. What would you even do if there was a big lightning cloud that was just killing everybody, and we managed to somehow get all the big heads together and figure out that we need to redirect an asteroid from Earth to land on this thunderstorm and get rid of it? Where do we really go from there for movies? Because the horrors. I mean, a story's a good story, isn't it? Really, but some of I guess we've really had wars and terrible catastrophes, and they still make movies about them. So maybe I'm just gay, but I'm probably gonna have to. My roommate's moving out, so I think most of these plants will be going. So I'm gonna have to start being a stupid loser and getting buying plants. And it'll be sad to see these motherfuckers go, man, because you know, like I said last week, we didn't have a good relationship at the start, but I think we've really come together now. And I'd take a drought for these motherfuckers. I'll tell you that. Isn't that right, brother? I went on a date yesterday, and it was some girl that I've known from school. And I was like, New Year. Ever since I had my big accident and cracked my head, I'm slightly more gay and slightly more, willing to go get what I want. I'm a savage now. So I was like, I'm gonna go and ask her out on a date and go out on a date with her, man. And straight off the bat, when I get there, I'm already on the back foot. Usually, I go on dates with girls, and you kind of just steamroll them with banter, and they just, or you just be quiet and let them talk, because girls love talking. But this one was different, man. I was like, oh, that's native. That's a nice little Native American type of jumper, that. And we started talking about cultural appropriation, man. And I'm having to speak on blackface, so that kind of jiggled my bones a little bit, man. It was interesting. She just had, we both just had operations. She had something wrong with her insides where they got all tangled up or something. It was pretty crazy. I said to her, "Hey, when I get those my knuckles in them buckles, I'll do a good job at rearranging them for you." I didn't say that, but no, it would have been funny. It does seem like the government are pretty useless. I hate them, like everyone else, and they seem to, like, they do eat children, and I wouldn't be surprised if they probably all shape shifted and stuff. But let's get annoyed at them and hate them for the real reasons. I saw an article in the Guardian the other day, and it was about how Rishi Sunak is taking private jets right around the country, and how that is bad, and he shouldn't be doing that. Come on. If anyone can do it, it's got to be the leader of the country that can fly around where he wants, whenever he wants, with as least stress as possible. Like, do people want him riding around everywhere on a bike. Can you imagine him going to all the top secret Cobra meetings on a bike, getting there 2 hours late? Everyone's walking out the door, and he's like, "Oh, guys, what's happening?" And they're like, "Oh, don't worry, Rishi. We've got it, mate. We've sorted it. We're carpet bombing Yemen later on in the week, but it's fine. We've already sorted it, Rishi." Then he comes in wearing a fucking helmet. Can you imagine seeing your prime minister in full lycra and a fucking crash helmet on? Not good. This one really made me feel bad. And I was at the pub the other week drinking with my friends. This is before I stopped drinking. We were watching the boxing, and someone that I'd not seen in ages that I used to go to school with came. So we're having a good time, right? And we end up back here, me and all my friends, and everyone slowly kind of dwindles out, and it's just me and this mate that I've not seen for ages. And last time I did see him, he had a girlfriend, right? And I'm going, "Oh man, how's it going with the girl?" And he gets a bit upset, and he's like, "Oh, she broke up with me. It's not been going well, you know. I'm just trying to sort myself out, man, because I think I want to get back together with her. She was, I think she was the one for me, and I feel so sorry for him, man, because I love this kid. He's such a sweet little cupcake. So I'm trying to G him up, right? Like, oh man, you're the greatest guy, man. You can do whatever you want. All things happen for a reason, man. And if you're meant to be together, I'm sure that your paths will cross at some point, and you will be together, mate. So don't even stress about it. You're a great guy." And the topic changes, right? And it goes on to what our other mate, who's got a sister who was always fit all through school. So I'm like, damn, what does she look like now? Is she still fit? And he's like, yeah, she's pretty fit. So I'm like, God, have you got her on Instagram, mate? Because I'd love to see what she looks like now. And he's like, yeah, I have. So he gets his phone out, goes on Instagram, and on the stories on the top left, the first one, there is like a blonde haired girl, which I'm like, oh, that must be the sister. So I'm like, oh, that must be her, man. Go on it. Let's see. So he's like, oh, all right. And he clicks on it. And this picture of this girl comes up, like a picture in a mirror. And I'm like, oh, God, she's a bit of a dog now, eh? Damn. Wow. And he's like silent. I'm like, oh, what? And he's like, no, that's my ex-girlfriend. He's like sat here. I'm like leaning over it. And I'm like, oh God, yeah, man, she's beautiful. Wow, nice, nice, nice. And I kind of just completely lie to try and make myself feel better. But yeah, that is. I just think about that when I'm like, oh, that's definitely on the big rap sheet when I get into hell. What I'm gonna have to talk about the devil. What I'm gonna have to talk to the devil about. But oh well, you live and you learn. I haven't had a takeaway in maybe a week or two. I used to order them all the time, man, because there's just nothing better than eating too much food. And I'd always order from the same place, right? I'd order so much food, man. It'd just be all piled up, and that way there's some for the paramedics to eat when they come in and try and resuscitate me. And I'd always go to the same place, and I'd walk down there, right, and get the same thing, burger with chips and grated cheese. And you'd walk in, and it'd be like the the surface of the sun in there just so hot, and the people behind the counter was sweating. It was like disgusting. The floor's black. I asked for chips and cheese. They like pull a bag of frozen chips from under the cabinet all across the floor, dump them in like the black oil. And I'd sit and I'd watch this, and I'd just think, ooh, maybe today's gonna be the day I get dysentery, and I just melt. But I'd get in it, and they were just the nicest things in the world. And I don't know if you ever heard about the psychological trick of, if you make your own sandwich, it doesn't taste as nice. Well, I'll tell you what, if if I watch someone make food with dirty utensils, dirty cooking equipment, I've got to be honest, it tastes so much nicer if you think it's going to be horrible. I do hate The Guardian, though. There are a few newspapers where I just, every time I see the shit they're writing about, it just enrages me, man. Every person I seem to like, every show I seem to watch or anything I seem to listen to, The Guardian seems to think it's a danger to society, man. And it's wild. Like Graham Hancock, man, just a sweet, lovely little old man talking about, ancient civilizations and maybe lost technologies, about how stuff may have been built earlier than we think with much more sophisticated equipment and societies. The Guardian writes articles like, "Oh, this is the worst thing in the world, and it's a danger because people watch this and then they'll start believing that Bush did 9/11 or that the vaccines don't work, and it just makes you laugh really because if one measly little conspiracy theory can melt your brain that much, surely all the shows of serial rape and murder are going to melt someone's brain equally as much. It is funny to be like uh, for an Egyptian to be proud of their heritage and stuff like that, and then for someone to be like, oh yeah, I don't think you could have managed that. I think it was probably little green men with big heads. I don't think you were as sophisticated as you think you are. It's just kind of impossible, to be honest. But I can't wait to go. I've got a plan. I've got a plan to go to Cairo and Giza and see these motherfuckers in person, and video it and just kind of get some demons. I feel like there's a lot of spirits around there that I can that can rub shoulders with, and it'd be wild. Because if you ever look at the inside of these pyramids, what in my head before I even thought about or before I even saw what they actually look like, I thought they'd be like huge, like chambers, like a house. Why wouldn't you make it a house? That's the first thing. Like, why is it something to bury people that's not used? At least make it some sort of sacrifice, like dungeon, like in Mexico, like with the fucking Incas or whatever. I don't even know, the Aztecs. That's cool. Like all the blood runs down and it's fun. But they just let's build this for 400 years, and my great great grandson is going to be buried in it. No thanks.